Rip Seddon. Rip Seddon, we barely knew thee. My poor girl got obliterated. It sucks. Oh my gosh. And I was convinced. I was absolutely convinced this girl was going to get revived by Adi. And I mean, it's been flagging that she's going to die for a while now, that she's so dead set on going out there to the battlefield, that she was going to die out there, and that the two of them were looking into information about this forbidden spell that was used on Mimi, and that eventually they were going to find it, and that Adi was going to use it. I mean, that was the question they posed, right? If I died, would you use it on me kind of thing? It's like, it feels like it's flagging that's going to happen. Now, it could still happen, and I have theories around that, but girl got obliterated. I'm sorry. Girl got disintegrated. And I'm kind of curious what caused that. That's a big question mark that I have. Was it the spell that was used on her, the thing that kind of impaled her and then like it just over time disintegrated her? Or is it a product of their sort of trying to keep the bodies from being harvested from the other side? They implied at some point that no bodies come back from the battlefield because they get rid of them. They don't want these other sides to get the information from the bodies or whatever. And so they could essentially put a spell on all their students that when they go out on the battlefield, so that if they die, their body disintegrates and thus the enemy side doesn't get anything. And just maybe Mimi's the only one that doesn't have that, so she can pretty much get torn apart and her body doesn't disintegrate or something like that. But it could be a product of that, because it does imply the fact that when she did go down, they kind of rushed in and gave her aid. So maybe they just could only patch her up so much, and they're like, okay, hopefully she makes it back to the home, and she like just walks all the way there and just barely makes it, just far enough to, it's almost like she just got far enough just to give Mimi that. Like, oh, I got here. Okay, give this back to Adi. Just enough to give that closure that Mimi can say that. It almost feels like that was what Seddon was doing. Like, I can't make it home. I kind of want to make it home. I'm trying to make it home. But, like, once she got to that point right there, it's like, okay, I can't anymore. Like, this is it. This is it. But, yeah. My theory. Because I'm still dead set on this. I'm still dead set this is going to be a thing. I just don't, again, I don't feel like we've gotten quite enough from Seddon. I feel like, again, the two of those individuals are going to be set up for somebody in the current time doing this ritual. And I'm so convinced it's going to be Adi put something in that little that little pendant. That's going to be it. I was convinced that when she gave the pendant to her, it was the spell. And that the moment that Seddon fell in battle, it was going to activate, Adi dies, and then Seddon lives. So the moment that she came up there to Mimi, I'm like, oh, Adi's dead. The moment that Seddon walked up to Mimi, I was like, that's it. They're going to go back home and Adi's going to be dead. She's going to be just disintegrated or something like that. The spell went off. Seddon lives. But then the fact that Seddon like disintegrates, the only thing that can kind of keep my theory going is that the actual pendant is just a spell to absorb her body or her essence. And then once that pendant gets back to Adi, she's going to do a ritual to bring her back. Because again, my original thought process is that when she first gave Seddon that pendant, and Seddon took it, I was like, that's going to have the forbidden spell in it. Because she's like, please take it with you. It's a letter. And she's like, oh, it'd be a shame to read it now. And she's like, no, just make sure to take it with you. Like, she was so dead on, you take this with you. Now, again, it could just be a good luck charm. She wanted to be there with her at her side, wanted to give her something to comfort her. But it was like, take it. Take it with you. Take it with you. Not only that, but later on when she's, they're preparing for battle, Mimi and them are talking. At some point, Mimi's like, oh, look at that thing. And she's like, yeah, this was given to me by Adi. And she's like, oh, yeah, it's got that. What did she say? Something like the ugly words or something like that? The creepy, crawly words. I've seen that. Mimi says, I've seen that. The creepy, crawly words. Now, it could just be childish Mimi's talking about, like, handwriting in general, and she doesn't like writing things. I think she knows that spell is. I think she knows that it's a forbidden spell. Now, what kind of forbidden spell? Is it the resurrection one, or is it something else? But the fact that Mimi recognized them and calls them creepy, crawly words, again, it could just be her mindset of like, yeah, drawing letters and spells looks creepy, crawly, and it's her just doing that. But anyways, we'll see though. We'll see though. Either that pendant is possibly going to absorb her essence or something like that, or is going to be the setup for potentially Adi bringing her back. It feels like everything's lined up for that. But again, it all kind of relies on the idea, can you do that when somebody's body disintegrates on the battlefield? She literally, like, clothes and all, just freaking disintegrated. But yeah, overall, really solid episode. I guess I should go through the episode scene by scene so I don't forget anything. I was very impressed by the opening sequence with what Fran was doing. Because I was really kind of questioning, why is she setting up for potentially Seddon to go into battle? Like, why is she pitting her up against Mimi? And even Omi's, like, questioning that. Like, this seemed like a really dumb test. You know what the outcome's going to be. Why did we go through this trouble? And yeah, sure enough, as it plays out, it did not go well for Seren. I was, again, still convinced that even in the end, if she loses to Mimi, they're still going to deploy her. And it seems like, based on what the lady says, Seren came to her and said, please still deploy me. Even if I didn't beat her, please, I volunteer as tribute. Let me go on the battlefield. It seems like it's still kind of pushed here, but yeah, the fight was, obviously very one-sided. Mimi was holding back, and she was still taking her down. And like, she's sitting over there playing with the spells. She's just like a ping pong ball, just knocking it up in the air. It's just like completely messy. The entire time she's distracted by Sheena. Hey, Sheena, you watching me? And Seren's like trying really, really hard. She ends up distracting her and rushing in there before. Yeah, Mimi has like a moment of like flip the switch. The switch just flipped for Mimi. Like out of nowhere, she's got the eyes of, you are going to die. You are my enemy. Like it just, I think that her battle brain just got triggered right there. And she didn't see Seren in front of her. She's seen target. Summit is a threat to me. I got to make it back home kind of thing. Yeah, almost kills Seren before Omi thankfully jumps in. Sheena yells for her to stop as well. But yeah, again, it's a very predictable outcome. And Fran's like, you kind of approve this as well. But the hope was, what Fran did it for was for the sake of the higher-ups seeing it, which I didn't really think that was going to be the case. I didn't think they were going to have like people actually watching it that were going to be part of, the planning here, the higher-ups. It was all for them to see Seren, who is of this class's best. She is the top tier. There's nobody better than her for combat ready right now. She can't beat Mimi. That she, not only that, but it's like an aspect of, again, Mimi's like playing with her. Mimi is playing with her, and she cannot even touch her. That Seren is the best of what they have, and if you deploy these students, they're going to die in minutes. There's going to be no point to it. Like, you guys are doing something strategically wrong, and it's not going to fix it by sending these kids out there because they're just going to die. You're wasting your time. So again, in the end, I think it was a really bold move by Fran. It just sucks that in the end, it doesn't work. They're still like, we're still going to deploy them. What the hell? Why are you deploying them? Because they asked to do that. And we're going to respect their will, which this does get into sort of what all going on with Seren and Ani specifically. They do get in the fact that, yes, this school saves these children. And for Seren and Ani specifically, yes, we knew that Seren was somebody that was like at death's door. But additionally, Ani, who is her companion here, somebody that she's very close to, that individual worked as a maid at a brothel. It gives a reason why Seren is so dead set on actually repaying this place. It saved us too. And I love Ani so much. But additionally, as we see later on, a lot of this is for Seren is to prevent Ani from ever having to go to battle. And again, that's, I think, probably what a lot is going to be in with, Sheena and Mimi's whole situation as well. So it's going to be like probably a little parallel there. But for them specifically, that's a lot to do with what Seren's doing. But yeah, I like that whole like after scene there with Seren and Mimi, and the idea that like, yes, I seen that you were basically playing with me. You weren't taking it seriously, but I was taking it seriously. But I like this little bit right here where it's showing Mimi how different people in the school think differently. That Sheena herself is telling me all the time, don't hurt people and come back safe and don't kill anybody out there because they all have families to come home to. And now I'm talking to you and you're dead set on going out there and fighting. Like you want to fight. But then also Sheena said that you did it because of this and this. And like Mimi's realizing that people are complicated things. That they don't all think the same. Sheena is not everybody. Seren is not everybody. And each person has their own reason for why they fight and why they do what they do. Big shocker there. Mimi, again, sort of realizing the complexity of human nature because she's been so, unfortunately, isolated on the ground. But I do like Seren sort of getting a realization there that Mimi's not, like, totally bloodthirsty. That she does, not like pain. She doesn't want to hurt her. And additionally, yes, she doesn't want to let Sheena down. I promised Sheena I was going to do this thing, and I don't want to not do that. But yeah, after that, we have the scene with them deciding to send Seren. And again, I like this little scene with Omi and Fran where there's acknowledgement that, again, Seren herself has a desire to do something. Additionally, the fact that the school itself is exploiting those desires. At the same time, also acknowledging there's a good side. This is like one of those cool little acknowledgements of sort of this gray area that the school itself presents. You have children that have nothing, and they're going to die, and they're in horrible places, and they're being exploited, or they're just straight starving to death. The school itself saves them. That's a good thing. It's acknowledging that that is still a good thing because if not school, person dead. If not school, person abused or exploited or whatever. But also acknowledge the fact that the school itself seeks out those kids because then they're very dead set on repaying them. So it's like this big gray area of like, it's morally wrong, but it's also their savior, but it's also exploiting that savior aspect. It's just, again, cool little gray area to at least acknowledge here. And yes, additionally, also acknowledging the fact that Fran and Omi don't like this. We've already kind of gotten the impression that Omi doesn't like this, but definitely got the clarification here that Fran doesn't like it. Like with that whole scene, she's getting pissed off because she was hoping this would kind of tell them to not touch these kids because they're just going to go off to die. And again, there's probably a lot of it to do with the fact that Omi's been suffering this entire time because they send off one of their students at some point and they just end up dying. There's a lot of confirmations here that they just do not like their situation, but they also acknowledge here that they don't really have a choice and there is a good being caused by this. But I also love later on having Fran just like pressing into Sarah and come back alive. I tried to keep you from getting deployed. You're going out to be deployed and you're really gung-ho about it. Please don't let it get to your head. I know you're excited. And you have this envisioning of that you're going to save the world and change society and make it to where Adi never has to go out to battle, but you can die. You're not Mimi. Like that. You're not Mimi. I know I'm not as strong as Mimi is. No. You're not immortal. You will die out there. And it sucks that she ends up doing it too. I'm sorry. And this is like one of those sides that makes me believe that she's probably going to get revived. So stupid. This is a stupid way to die. Like, she goes out there and she's doing good and she saves some dude's life. And then she's like, oh, yay, I saved somebody. She's doing a little twirly thing as she's jumping away. Like, why are you twirling as you jump forward? And then she goes up in the tree and she's just sitting there. I saved a life. And she's like, it's like up in the tree and there's like a white backdrop to her. Like, the sky is behind her. Like, she's completely visible to literally the entire world. And she gets herself shot. I'm like, you're so stupid. Why are you up there? Like, again, she's green. And again, that's why they didn't want her out there. She's so, like, green. She doesn't know that she's in the stupidest place possible. Like, you're literally just waiting for somebody to shoot you down. It sucks. It sucks. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the episode. There was, like, a few scenes with Esther hanging out with Adi. And it's nice little kind of parallels between the two of them. Again, she's, like, watching Adi as she's, very nervous about the duel. And she's, like, seeing her friend in Seiden. And then later on, having her kind of come and console Adi as she's waiting for, Seiden to come back. Telling her to kind of, appreciate the current time. Like, the moment you have right now, appreciate it. Don't worry about tomorrow. Just worry about right now. Enjoy what you have right now. It's expected. It's expected. Anyways, that's my thoughts on the episode. Kind of all over the place, but at least I think I got all my thoughts out here. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below. Till next time, you'll take care.